Whitehall officials have been told that they need to ensure British foreign aid is being spent to further British interests. Express.co. UK understands that when Foreign Secretary James Cleverly was promoted last year, he was alarmed that the bureaucrats dealing with the aid budget were still prioritising how much money was being spent and not its impact. The previous list of priorities in justifying aid spending had been how much was spent, the impact on the recipient country, and then a distant third whether it had any benefits for the UK. It is understood that Mr. Cleverly made it clear that spending lots of money without showing benefit to the British taxpayer was the wrong way round. He told development officials that when he receives a report on spending, the list of priorities needs to be reversed, the benefit for the UK and its taxpayers followed by the impact for the recipient country and then how much was spent. Sources have said that the rethink is part of a much more active foreign policy in trying to use aid and other levers to further British interests. It is part of a push with other Western democracies in taking on the way China is trying to buy influence. Through its aid program, development was added to the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office (FCDO) when Boris Johnson abolished the Department for International Aid, speaking on his recent trip to Japan for a G7 summit. Mr. Cleverly warned that Chinese aid came with strings attached for recipient countries and posed a wider problem for international security. He led a session at the summit on reducing the debt burden on African nations in particular who have been caught out by the Chinese, Mr. Cleverly said. We are seeing quite heavy-handed conversations about how countries that have a relationship with China vote in the international forums. We are, also, seeing countries that have had a relationship with China realize that the infrastructure they are getting hasn't left a legacy. So, the point we've made that we are making is that we are better, more reliable, more mutually beneficial partner. He also said he wants to restore the controversial level of aid spending to 0.7% of GDP as soon as possible, but warned those pushing for it in the short term that we can't wish away the largest economic shock of our lifetimes after COVID and lockdown. But he added that the UK at 0.5% of GDP spending is still one of the more generous aid donors in the world. He said, "I'm very proud of that." Mr. Cleverly also defended diverting the aid budget to spending on illegal migrants' hotel accommodation as their asylum applications are processed. He said, "The definition of aid expenditure is set internationally, we don't define it, and it is designed to help the people in the world that need help."